Can you bleep out my cuss words?
Yeah, we will. Yeah.
Cool.
So there's a thing called editing.
Mother.
Oh, bro.
Hey, so I'm Josie. I'm a member of the logistics team that's connecting the students and the alumni for Spirit Racing Systems, and I'm here with Matt Swain and Chris Fulton, who are the current chairmen, and we're just going to ask them a couple questions about this race day right after the conclusion of it.
It's only 3 questions?
3 questions, that's it.
Oh, these are going to be hard-ass questions.
What went well?
People came out, pushers pushed fast, buggies were mechanically sound, beat team place.
People like held it together, even in the face of adversity. Like, you know, with the actual 2 spins, like, people weren't like, this is the end, this is the end, this is the end. Like, people still were very hopeful for the Spirit B and C teams to push later that day. Even when it was hard to, like, actually just keep, like, the front, like, the facial front up, just being like, everything's okay. The team, like, held it together overall. So I think that was something that went pretty well on our side.
Good energy. We proved to ourselves that we have the technology and personnel to keep up with everybody else.
That's huge. What didn't go well?
Well,
The truck died.
Oh! Well, that was
After
great.
prelims, the truck died. That
That's-
didn't go too well.
That was a great time.
Yeah.
Prelims were rough. They were rocky.
2 spins,
Lane DQ.
slow hill 4 on C, making us come in 11.
Yeah, that was a terrible hill 4 we had on C. Yeah.
Who pushed
Oh,
Med C?
Matt pushed Men C.
Yeah, it was
It was one of the funniest hill 4s I witnessed for 2 seconds on the live stream footage. So,
great, bro.
bro, his arms.
I'll show it to you after. It's fucking. But I was moving.
Is there anything you can tell us about those 2 spins? Inquiring minds want to know.
I think it was a combination of both the roads and the wheels being warmer than normal. We have been practicing in pretty cold weather, like related to race day. Like we hadn't had temperatures that were in the 60s pretty much all year. I think with those things combined, those forces, we were going too fast.
When driver leadership isn't as strong, it's hard to teach how to drive and how to really drive. And it is like anything else, like riding a bike, like driving a car. It's not the same every time. It's never going to be the same every time. So we always push line. Drive your line, keep your line. And that's not how it works. Nina, she was put into the head driver position kind of 5 weeks before race day. Moving forward, we know what to do. So combination of those things, as well as not knowing how to feel the buggy, which I can't speak to because I can't fit in a buggy.
Apparently we can fit in technically.
I drift in the shoe.
That's what I was trying to say, but then we might flip the buggy.
If you offset the axle, you'll be
But
fine.
I think about it, if you flip the buggy and it rolls back onto its wheels, that would be hard, bro. You lose a lot of energy, but that would be
like
hard.
a barrel roll in the shoe, and then you come out like a torpedo.
What would you change?
Driver program. But that's tough because that goes back to my freshman year, kind of, right?
Yeah.
Another thing is to stop being afraid. We make a lot of conservative decisions as a team. Like, yeah, buggy costs a lot of money. So we do have to make conservative decisions a lot of time when it comes to like building and stuff like that. But like, our buggies are safe. Sometimes you gotta increase the speed a little bit quicker, and we like to. The hubs have never been heated all the way down like that. So it's like, even if we couldn't have simulated that, just having more consistent rolls with even just the outer roll being hot enough gives her more practice. So even if it is too hot on race day, she's still more familiar with it. Pushing ourselves to move a little bit faster, because I think technology and pushers are there. Also the pushers, we need to recruit, but not just recruit, we need to
recruit in the right area.
not just that, the training of pushers happened way too late. That's why the B team pushed 2 seconds slower yesterday. Like a lot of mistakes.
I'd say, 1, be more organized. There's a lot of times that it's really frustrating just trying to figure out on the fly, figure stuff out on the fly. You can edit that part out. Especially come race day, there's a lot that just kind of like flew at us, and it's just like, whoa, there's a lot of that, like a lot of this could have been handled much sooner, much earlier, and like the stress of race day would not necessarily have to have been as much as it was. I think there was more organization even from the beginning, like a lot of we could have made a lot more progress throughout the year, just like as a team. Like we could have been further in our goals of like building through this year. there is an art, I believe, to racing, like actual race day, like prelims into the finals. There is like a very, very particular art that I was not fully aware of as a head mechanic, and I don't believe that I still am fully aware of as a chairman or first time chair. But I have a much greater sense of knowledge of like what that is, I guess is the best way to put it. Just being more strategically focused on like ways to be slightly more conservative one day into the next day to like guarantee that like you're moving from one to the next, right? I feel like there's a lot of times that I could have also just like been ready to make a decision, like just from a first year chair standpoint, that I was like, I don't know what to do, even though I kind of in my gut knew what to do. I'd be like, Matt, should we do this? And I'd be like, I don't know, what do you think? And I was like, well, yeah. And he's just like, then yeah. And I was like, okay. Then I guess my gut instinct was fine from the beginning. But I think that for most people, it's just like getting into a position for the first time when you have to make decisions for an additional 40, 50 other people. And you're just like, I think those are the things that I would do differently. And read the rules like 7 times at the beginning of the semester. Like the beginning. Probably more documentation too. A lot of things that like I know how to do now, but I'm just like, I should just write that down. That's it. Very like small things like going in the slice, running a drop. Just writing down that process. I already have a timeline planned out in my head that's written down somewhere.
Do you guys have any other parting words, final thoughts?
Well, this is my last year. Nah, but I don't know if anybody's gonna see this, but if they do, thank you guys. Yeah, the team has really meant a lot. So, thanks. And I'm cutting it short. It's very small now.
This is a wild first race day. I'm excited for the next one. It's weird for me going to this next race day without the person who brought me into Spirit, like who brought me into this sport as a whole. He was my head mechanic, then he was my chairman, and then he was my co-chair. So it's just gonna be much different for me, just not having that person, like that figure for myself that like I always looked up to ever since I got here. So it's gonna be a weird time. I'm nervous, but it's also like a nervous excitement because I know that we can do something very, very special.
Year 100, look out for him.
Oh, it is year 100, yeah.
Alright,
Alright.
awesome.
You seem really uncomfortable. You're like holding onto that pillow really
No, I'm
tightly.
just comfortable. That's just how I hug pillows.
Apparently back in the day, in the buggy book, they used to put MFIC for
Yep.
chairman.
Yeah.
They all-
It's HMFIC.
Oh.
It's for chairman. That's because the head mother.
Like all of
The MFICs would be the mechanics.
Yo,
all of the buggy teams?
no.
No, we
Just
just.
us? Oh, that's how we would like log it in?
I mean, that's what we called
Oh,
them.
well,
Like,
that's-
I didn't know that, bro.
like, yeah.
I learned Grace was like,